The restaurant is buzzing with celebration. Laughter fills the air as champagne glasses clink together. At the center table sits Patience, her husband Joseph, and their friends. But something is off. Patience's smile does not reach her eyes. Her hand trembles slightly as she raises her glass. Joseph wraps an arm around her shoulder and whispers something to her. She nods, but her jaw remains tight. Camera phones flash as everyone celebrates what looks like a perfect couple's anniversary. But if you look closely at Patience's eyes, you see something else. Pain, exhaustion, a woman barely holding on. Now let me tell you how we got here. 3 years ago, Patience was a different woman, confident, warm, full of life. She worked as a nurse at a government hospital in Benin City, Edo State. Her days were long but fulfilling. Patients loved her. Colleagues respected her. Her life was simple, yet peaceful. She lived in a small apartment, cooked her own meals, and sent money home to her parents in Uromi every month without fail. Patience was not chasing luxury. She was chasing purpose. Then she met Joseph at a medical outreach program in a rural community. He was a pharmacist volunteering for the same program. Tall, kind, with an easy smile that made people feel comfortable around him. They talked about everything during those 3 days. Their dreams, their families, their faiths. By the end of the outreach, Joseph asked for her number. Patience gave it to him with a smile. Something about him felt right. They dated for 8 months. Joseph was everything Patience had prayed for. Respectful, hardworking, God-fearing. He visited her family in Uromi and charmed everyone. Her father liked him. Her mother approved. Her younger siblings adored him. When Joseph proposed at a quiet dinner, Patience said yes without hesitation. She believed she had found her partner for life. But there was one person she had not fully met yet, Joseph's mother. Joseph, my mother, is very protective. She raised my sister and me alone after my father passed away. She is strong, but she can be a bit intense sometimes. Patience, I understand. Losing a spouse is hard. I will be patient with her. Joseph, she will love you. I know she will. But Joseph was wrong. The first meeting happened 2 weeks before the wedding. Patience traveled to Lagos, where Joseph's family lived. She wore a modest dress, brought gifts, and prepared herself mentally. When she entered the sitting room, Joseph's mother, Mrs. Florence Adeyemi, was seated like a queen on a throne. Her gaze was sharp and cold. Patience. Good afternoon, ma. My name is Patience. It is an honor to finally meet you. Mrs. Florence did not stand. She did not smile. She looked Patience up and down slowly as if inspecting something for defects. Mrs. Florence, so you are the one my son wants to marry. Patience, yes, ma. Joseph and I. Mrs. Florence, sit down. Patience sat, feeling the weight of the woman's stare. The room was silent except for the hum of the air conditioner. Mrs. Florence began asking questions. Where are you from? What do your parents do? How much do you earn? What church do you attend? Each question felt like a test. Patience was not sure she was passing. Joseph tried to lighten the mood, but his mother's expression never changed. By the end of the visit, Patience left feeling uneasy. Something in Mrs. Florence's eyes told her this woman would never accept her. The wedding went ahead as planned. It was beautiful. Patience wore white lace, and Joseph looked sharp in his navy blue suit. Their families danced, ate, and celebrated. Mrs. Florence attended, but she did not smile in any of the photos with Patience. She smiled only when Joseph stood beside her. Friends noticed, but no one said anything. Everyone assumed she would warm up with time. Patience and Joseph moved into a nice 2-bedroom flat in Lekki. Joseph worked at a large pharmacy chain. Patience transferred to a private hospital nearby. Their life together started well. Morning prayers, evening conversations, weekend movies. Patience cooked Joseph's favorite meals. Joseph surprised her with flowers. They were building something real. Then Mrs. Florence started visiting. At first, it was once a month, then every 2 weeks, then every week. She showed up unannounced, walked into the house with her spare key, and settled into the living room as if she owned the place. Patience tried to be welcoming. She cooked special meals, cleaned the house thoroughly, and spoke respectfully. But nothing was ever good enough. Mrs. Florence, Patience, this soup is too watery. Did your mother not teach you how to cook? Patience, I am sorry, ma. I will adjust it next time. Mrs. Florence, next time? Joseph has been eating this kind of food all along. My son deserves better. Patience apologized, adjusted, and tried again. But there was always something wrong. The house was too cold. The curtains were the wrong color. The furniture arrangement was poor. Joseph's shirts were not ironed properly. Patience was not praying enough. Patience was not serving her husband correctly. The criticism never ended. One Saturday, Mrs. Florence arrived while Patience was mopping the floor. She walked in, looked around, and frowned. Mrs. Florence, why are you mopping at this time? Do you not know a wife should finish all cleaning before her husband wakes up? Patience. Ma, Joseph is still sleeping. I did not want to disturb him. Mrs. Florence, that is your problem. You think marriage is about comfort. A good wife works hard so her husband can rest. Patience bit her tongue and continued mopping in silence while Mrs. Florence sat on the sofa scrolling through her phone. When Joseph woke up, his mother's tone changed completely. She became warm, smiling, asking about his work and his health. The moment he left the room, the coldness returned. Months passed, and Patience began noticing something strange. Whenever she and Joseph had a private conversation, somehow Mrs. Florence knew about it. If they disagreed over something small, Mrs. Florence would later call Joseph and give her opinion. An opinion that always opposed Patience. If Patience planned something for them as a couple, Mrs. Florence would suggest something else. Joseph would change the plan. Slowly, Patience realized Mrs. Florence was not just visiting, she was interfering. One evening, Patience found the courage to speak to Joseph. Patience, Joseph, I need to talk to you about something. Joseph, what is it? Patience, your mother. I feel like she does not respect our marriage. She is always here, always criticizing me, always changing our plans. I try my best, but nothing I do is ever enough for her. Joseph sighed and rubbed his face. Joseph, Patience, she is my mother. She raised me. She is just trying to help. Patience, help? Joseph, she makes me feel like I do not belong in my own home. I cannot even make decisions without her having something to say. Joseph, you are overthinking it. She's just old-fashioned. Give her time. Patience. Time? It has been almost a year. When will it stop? Joseph. Patience, please. Do not make me choose between you and my mother. Patience froze. Those words cut deeper than any insult Mrs. Florence had ever thrown at her. She nodded slowly and walked away. That night she cried quietly in the bathroom so Joseph would not hear. She had expected her husband to defend her, to set boundaries, to protect their marriage. Instead, he chose silence. And in that silence, Mrs. Florence's power grew stronger. Things escalated quickly after that conversation. Mrs. Florence began coming to the house even more frequently. She rearranged things without asking. She threw away Patience's decorations and replaced them with her own choices. She started cooking meals in Patience's kitchen and serving Joseph, completely ignoring Patience's presence. One afternoon, Patience came home from work exhausted. She had handled a difficult case at the hospital and only wanted to rest. When she entered the house, she found Mrs. Florence in the kitchen, cooking. Mrs. Florence, oh, you are back. I did not know when you would return. So I decided to prepare something decent for my son. Patience felt the sting but swallowed it. Patience. Thank you, Ma. But I already plan to cook this evening. Mrs. Florence. Planned? Patience. Planning is different from doing. A wife should always have food ready for her husband, not plans. Patience excused herself and went to the bedroom. She sat on the bed, staring at the wall, feeling like a stranger in her own home. Joseph came home later. He ate his mother's food and praised it loudly. He did not ask about Patience's day. He did not notice the hurt in her eyes. Mrs. Florence smiled triumphantly. Then the lies started. They were small at first. Mrs. Florence told Joseph that Patience spoke rudely to her when he was not around, that Patience wasted money on unnecessary things, that Patience was not taking proper care of the house. Joseph confronted Patience each time. She denied it, but the seed of doubt had already been planted, her word against his mother's, and Joseph always believed his mother. Joseph. Patience, my mother said you shouted at her yesterday. Patience. What? I did not shout at her. I only asked her politely not to throw away my things without asking me first. Joseph. She is my mother. Patience. You need to respect her. Patience. I do respect her. But she is not respecting me. Joseph. Maybe if you were more submissive, there would not be so many problems. Patience stared at him, speechless. Submissive. She had been patient, kind, and respectful. But in Joseph's eyes, shaped by his mother's whispers, Patience was now the problem. The tension in the house became unbearable. Patience started working longer hours just to avoid going home. She made excuses to visit her family in Oromi. She stopped cooking elaborate meals because Mrs. Florence criticized them anyway. She stopped decorating the house because everything she chose was replaced. Slowly, Patience began disappearing inside her own marriage. Then one day, she discovered she was pregnant. Joy flooded her heart for the first time in months. She thought maybe, just maybe, this baby would change things. Maybe Mrs. Florence would soften. Maybe Joseph would finally protect her as the mother of his child. She told Joseph first. He was happy. They hugged, prayed, and thanked God together. Then Joseph called his mother to share the news. Mrs. Florence. Pregnant? Already? Her voice was cold. No warmth, no congratulations. Joseph. Yes, Mama. Is it not wonderful? Mrs. Florence. I hope she knows how to take care of herself. Some women do not know how to carry pregnancies well. Patience's heart sank. Even her pregnancy, her joy was being poisoned. Mrs. Florence increased her visits, claiming she was coming to help, but her presence brought more stress than support. She criticized everything Patience ate, how she dressed and how she moved. She told Joseph that Patience was not taking the pregnancy seriously because she was still working. Joseph. Patience, maybe you should take a break from work. My mother thinks it is too stressful for you. Patience. Joseph. I am a nurse. I know my body. I am fine. Joseph. But what if something happens? I do not want to lose this baby. Patience. You will not. I am careful, but I need to work. We need the income. Joseph. We will manage. Listen to my mother. She knows what she's talking about. Patience felt trapped. She continued working, but the guilt Mrs. Florence planted in Joseph's mind lingered. Every evening, he asked if she was okay, but it did not feel like care. It felt like suspicion. Then one afternoon, Patience came home early from the hospital, dizzy and weak. As she opened the door, she heard voices in the living room. Mrs. Florence was on the phone speaking loudly. Mrs. Florence, I am telling you, that girl is not right for my son. She is too stubborn, too proud. She does not know how to be a wife. I did not raise my Joseph to be disrespected in his own home. Patience froze in the corridor. Mrs. Florence, I have tried to guide her, but she does not listen. I am just protecting my son. If she cannot submit to me, how will she submit to him? Mark my words, this marriage will not last if she continues like this. Tears streamed down Patience's face. She went quietly to the bedroom and lay down, her heart, breaking. Everything suddenly made sense. The criticism, the interference, the lies. Mrs. Florence was not trying to help. She was trying to destroy the marriage. She was jealous. Jealous of the love Joseph had for Patience. Jealous that another woman now held his attention. Jealous that she was no longer the center of his world. Patience tried to tell Joseph what she had heard, but he dismissed her. Joseph, you are overthinking things because of the pregnancy hormones. My mother loves me. She would never try to hurt us. Patience. Joseph, I heard her. She is sabotaging us. Joseph, see what, Patience? That my mother cares? You are being paranoid. Patience stopped trying. She focused only on her pregnancy and her work. The distance between her and Joseph grew. They slept in the same bed but lived like strangers. At 7 months pregnant, Patience developed complications. High blood pressure, severe swelling. The doctor ordered complete bed rest. Mrs. Florence moved in, full-time, claiming she was there to help. Instead, she took control of everything. The kitchen, the television, the conversations. Patience felt like a guest in our own home. One evening, Patience overheard another conversation. Mrs. Florence, after the baby comes, maybe Patience should stay with her family for a while. It might help her attitude. Patience's hands trembled. She realized Mrs. Florence wanted to push her out completely. Take control of the baby. Erase her from the picture. That night, Patience prayed like never before. The baby was born healthy, a beautiful girl. They named her Promise. For a brief moment, the house was filled with joy. Then the interference returned. Mrs. Florence criticized how Patience fed the baby, how she bathed her, how she dressed her. She snatched Promise from her arms, claiming she knew better. She even suggested a DNA test. Joseph, Patience, my mother thinks. Patience, stop. Just stop, Joseph. For the first time in 2 years, Patience's voice was firm. Patience, your mother has controlled our marriage. She has lied about me. She has made me feel worthless, and you allowed it. But I will not let her destroy my relationship with my daughter. Joseph stood stunned. Patience played a voice recording she had secretly kept. Mrs. Florence's voice filled the room, mocking Patience and boasting about manipulating her son. Recording, he believes everything I tell him. He will always choose me over her. Joseph's hand shook. Joseph, Mama, is this true? Mrs. Florence tried to deny it, then Joseph spoke again. Joseph, you need to leave. The room went silent. For the first time in 2 years, peace entered the house. Healing did not come easily, but it came. Months later, at their anniversary dinner, Patience's smile was real. She held Promise in her arms and looked at Joseph with quiet strength. She had survived, not by fighting with anger, but by standing firm in truth. I want you to drop your honest opinion about these questions in the comments. Number 1. Have you ever experienced someone disguising control as care in your life or relationship? Number 2. Where should boundaries be drawn when family involvement begins to harm a marriage? Number 3. If you were Joseph, at what point would you have stepped in differently? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your story might help someone else feel less alone. If you enjoyed this story, like this video and subscribe for more real-life stories that expose hidden family dynamics, emotional manipulation, and the strength it takes to reclaim peace. Turn on notifications so you do not miss the next chapter.